everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I have been doing. Since it's close to the end of the year, I really wanted to go over a build that I had created earlier before I even had the channel up and running. This build plus the Dale Jr. build were the two that really got me back into the hobby. This one is a little bit more special to me only because it's a custom build that I made for my brother. Back in 2004, 2005, he ran super stocks up at a raceway in Long Island, New York called Riverhead Raceway. There's actually a movie documentary that they made about it. And I'll actually post that in a link in the description. So if you guys want to check it out, it's actually a pretty cool movie. But yeah, it's basically just, you know, guys taking old Chevys and whatnot and basically as stock as you could possibly make them and going up there and running on a short track. So Riverhead was always a fun raceway, and my brother absolutely loved doing it. A lot of good memories. I went up there with, you know, mom, dad, my brother. It was kind of like a family event on the weekends. Watch him race, help out in the car as much as we could, and it was definitely a thing that he loved doing and looks back on and, you know, probably still wishes he could still do it. So now the car that I used to create the build, this is actually a Monogram Nascar 82 Grand Prix. The car he actually drove was like I think an early 90s Caprice, like a two-door Caprice is from what I remember. And I have some reference photos I'm going to be posting while I'm talking, and so that you can see the comparisons while you're watching the video. But this was as close as I could find of a donor kit that would match the car. And again, I still am not an expert, but I didn't have a lot of expertise at the time, especially since I've been out of the hobby for, you know, 10, 12 years since I was in high school, basically, to kind of know what I was doing. So a lot of it was a learning experience, a lot of mistakes that I was able to correct and make it look really good. But so basically, like I said, I used that Monogram kit for the body, the chassis. The wheels were aftermarket. I did get some aftermarket wheels to match, like, you know, a street stock, because he ran Hoosier tires, and I think they came out really, really good. And the decals I used from another donor kit, I believe it was the 31 Lumina Mom and Pop Chevrolet. I found that at Mike's Decals, and they fit perfect because that's what he ran, basically that same RCR font for the 31. If you're a NASCAR fan, you know what I'm talking about. And the contingency stickers on the side, the decals, those are each individual. Those are not like a group decal like some of those kits have. So those are all individually placed. And if you look at the photos comparing to the real car to this, they're about 90% accurate. There's only a couple that I couldn't find, so I used what I had to make it look good. And I'm really proud of it. I really like how it turned out. I've never done any type of masking before. So to run that line, that white stripe down the side and then over the hood to the bumper was honestly kind of challenging for me. Like I said, I've never done that before, but it came out pretty good. I really, really like it. As you could tell on the body, I did put some damage because based on some of the photos, you'll see these cars weren't pristine. They were beat up, banged up short track racers that, you know, he ran into. You know, they got dirty and whatnot, but they were beat up cars, and you know, I try to make it as accurate as possible for him. You'll see some detail on the interior. I didn't go crazy because I didn't have a lot of reference photos. I kind of went off of just what I remembered. And the motor as well, you'll see other photos explaining it, but I actually had to glue the hood on just because the way it was misshapen and morphed. I didn't want the hood to, if you look at my other video, like the STP Pro Stock, that dragster, you can see where that hood was warped. Well, this was very similar, and this is going to be a shelf piece for him, and I didn't want that to look out of place. So I did glue the hood on, but, you know, again, he's not going to be sitting there messing with it. I basically bought a case for it, and it's going to sit on a shelf, and just something to remind him of what he used to do and what he used to enjoy, and just kind of some good memories from it. So I think it came out really cool. And like I said, I've never really did custom builds before. I never once did anything like outside the box, you know? Like as a kid, I guess I didn't really use my imagination and just use what was on the box. And now now that I'm older and I see there's so many possibilities of what you can do with these kits. You can make them however you want. You can turn them into whatever you want. You can kit bash and just do whatever. So I had a lot of fun doing it. It was really frustrating just because, you know, something like this, you want to look as close as possible to the real thing. So, you know, there's a lot of stress into it. I had to walk away and kind of take a break, and just because sometimes, you know, when you want perfection, it does kind of get to you a little bit, but you can't let the fun get away from it. And I had a blast doing it. Like I said, some things were a little bit tough to do, but I learned, and I think it came out really good. So this probably will be the last video that I have for the year. I don't know if the current project I'm working on, I'll be able to get it in time. I don't want to rush it and, you know, ruin quality over just getting out a video for you guys. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, everyone who has at the time. Right now I'm already up to like almost 40, which is honestly absurd. I never thought I'd even get like 10. So the fact that people are watching and liking and you know, subscribing to the channel is awesome. I love doing this. I forgot how much fun I had doing this, and I love it even now, even more, just because I just keep learning more techniques and realizing, you know, I'm getting more ideas and I can basically do whatever you want. So it's kind of limitless. So if you're interested in the hobby, if you've never done the hobby and you've kind of thought about it, probably now's the best time, since we're kind of all stuck at home and with what's going on in the world. You know, order some stuff online, or if you can go to the store, you know, run to the store, get a quick kit and practice. You know, it's just work on them. Create something that you want. You don't have to do the box art. You can make it whatever you want. And if you mess up, you can always fix it. That's the cool thing. So, you know, throw it in some simple clean, strip all the paint off and start over. So yeah, I had a blast doing this and all my other builds that I had. Probably this build, the Dale Jr. one, only because it's Dale Jr. and I've always been a hardcore NASCAR fan. And love Dale Sr., love Dale Jr. That whole era was like the best time to be alive if you're a NASCAR fan. But yeah, and then that 66 truck, I loved how that thing came out. I was so happy and I had so much fun doing it. So, but yeah, I don't want to keep rambling and make it too long of a video, but thanks again for everybody who watches and subscribes. I greatly appreciate it. And don't be afraid to put anything in the comments. I love talking to you guys, learning new things and discussing things. If you have questions about anything, I'll answer as many questions as I can on how I do something. Again, what I do is not the end-all be-all way of doing anything. It's just my way of doing it, or the ways that I've tried so far. I'm definitely not one of those one way is the only way. I would love to try every way, and then if I realize I don't like it that way, then I won't. So, but you got to try to know if you're going to like it or not. So don't be afraid to ask any questions in the comments. I love talking to everybody and learning from it, and you know, as long as everyone's respectable and cool, and you know, it's a good community so far. From the other hobbying channels I've seen, everyone for the most part gets along and you know, is pretty respectable. So yeah, so again, thanks for everything. Glad you guys are liking the video and the content. I'm going to get more out. Like I said, I'm working on two projects right now at the time, so I'm going to try to get them done as soon as possible to get you guys some more stuff, and I got tons of ideas, so that I'm not I'm not limited on that. So thanks again. I'm going to have a slideshow here in a second, and I'll see you guys the next time. Stay safe, have a happy holidays, and talk to you soon.